Today we are answering a handful of recently asked questions all about buying a house in Oregon, relocating to Oregon, the home buying a house just in general, all of those topics. So that's what we're going to be chatting about today. But if you are new here, welcome. My name's Mariah.
And I'm Spencer.
And we are a top producing husband and wife real estate team here in Oregon. And we specialize in working with relocation clients. We work with a lot of out-of-state buyers, people who are relocating to our area from other parts of the country and the world, and we love it. So if that's you, feel free to reach out anytime. We would love to help you as well. So let's and also if you're, we get calls from people who are moving here or who are thinking about moving here right away. And then others are super far out. Some of them are 6 months, a year, 2 years. I mean, I just talked to a guy that was, thinking about moving in a year and a half, and that's really common. Yeah. And so if that's you, feel free to reach out. We're still more than happy to chat with you and kind of point you in the right direction and see how we can help in these beginning stages.
Yeah, systematically, we have put plans into action. If you are a long-term buyer lead is what I call them. We definitely want to just stay in front of you throughout that period of time so we can create relationship until you are ready for that home purchase. So feel free to go to our website and create that profile.
All right. So this first question is actually something that I don't know about you, but I've been getting asked this a lot lately. And I think, like we were just talking about earlier, how one of the problems with home prices not being able to drop right now, everyone's always asking, when are home prices going to drop? And well, one of the big issues is the fact that we have such low number of homes on the market. We are record low inventory. And a big reason for that is because the average mortgage right now is 1 point above or below 3%. And that's huge. I mean, that's really hard to get rid of. So a lot of people, because of that, are not wanting to put their home on the market. So all of that to say, that leads me to our first question that, like I said, we've been asked quite a bit lately by clients who have just been contemplating this and going over this. And that is, I'm moving to Oregon and I have a house to sell in the state that I'm leaving. I'm torn between selling it and renting it out. The only reason we really want to keep it is because our 3% interest rate. But if we can sell it, on the flip side, if we do sell it, we will be able to be qualified for more in Oregon. Yeah. So that's a tough question to answer.
I'm going to revert back to some podcasts that I've actually been listening to as well, real estate wise, as to why maybe you want to sell your property. And just looking over the numbers, so charts in the last 5 years, look at your equity growth. If you've bought and you have equity, I don't know how long you've lived in this house. Did she say?
No, but with the 3% interest rate, I'm guessing it hasn't been more than 3 years.
Yeah, or they refinanced lately.
Refinance.
The thing is, we've lived through this historical high as equity rich. So meaning you bought in a house within the last 5 years, you have gained equity year over year, 16 to 24% at times on these homes per year. So that's giving you free money technically. So that's the upside. The downside is if you were to sell off, yes, you have equity, you're looking to purchase. I don't know what market you're currently in, whether you're a higher market than Oregon or a lower market than in Oregon. So that's one of the catch-22s. It really does help if we knew location. But if I'm referring to the professionals and my own personal opinion as to what I should do, first look at how much you owe on your current home, your current investment in your current state. Okay, now what's the rent income? If the numbers are like doubling your current mortgage, then rent that puppy out and try and buy somewhere else and get that home paid off as soon as you can. But the real hard part is your interest rates right now are just above 7%. So your home mortgage here in the new state is usually not going to allow you with your debt to income ratio unless you got a great job. Then it's going to be really
circumstantial.
Tough. It's going to be very, very tough, I would say, for you to be owning this investment property and then you buying a new permanent residence in another state. But if the numbers make sense, go for it. I recommend sell it off, take advantage of all the equity you have gained in the last few years. And if the move is now, that's why you're going to need to sell off, is to get you where you need to be from point A to point B. I don't know what your job status is. I don't know your timelines, but technically what I'm looking at is sell high, buy low. So meaning sell high, try and buy something more affordable in this market. Don't use all your money, live in it for 2 years, get rid of the taxes, and then maybe resell here in Oregon and find your forever home now that you're transitioned to Oregon.
That's good advice. I think if I were in that situation, the biggest thing that would make me feel okay with getting rid of that 3% interest rate, because I know it would be really hard to, it's hard to look at that and be like, well, I look at what interest rates are now, and that's really tough. I think the biggest thing that would make it easier, though, is remembering the fact that we have been in a housing market over the last few years where homes have appreciated faster than we've ever seen them appreciate in history. Mm-hmm. And so you've been able to, just from owning a house, even if you didn't do anything to it, make so much money that was literally just given to you from owning this house. And so that's where I think that it would make kind of like the flip side, like the pros and the cons, like what makes it a little bit easier is the fact that you have all this equity that wouldn't have been there if it weren't for those interest rates.
The bright side, I don't want to cut you off too bad.
Side,
The bright side is when we look at analysts and the predictions into 2024, home prices aren't expected to go down. They're only expected to increase. Yes, they're going to increase at a smaller rate, say 3 to 6% annually.
Which is a big difference from 20% like we saw, which isn't healthy or sustainable.
But it's better than a decline.
Yeah.
So if you look at that, I don't think you're in a really bad spot because you own a home already. You're at a great interest rate. If you can, maybe just live there for a little bit more while, okay? Just live there. Let the dust settle. Let the election year happen. See what's to come with current interest rates because I believe, are going to transition into an even better seller's market, and it could be a better market for you to sell your current investment property at a higher rate with a better buyer, getting you more money and being able to purchase with a better interest rate.
Well, that could be
here down the road.
That could be another reason though to keep the home, rent it out, and buy a house here.
Exactly.
That's a little bit more,
if the numbers make sense,
a little bit more affordable and of a house, but still buy, because I've talked to people in that situation. And then when that time does come, when home prices, because like Spencer said, everybody is predicting they're only supposed to keep going up. When that does happen, then you'll be able to sell it. So, I mean, at the end of the day, it's such a personal question and it's so circumstantial. And I think you really have to look at your own personal goals and think, do I really want to be a landlord? 2, what's more important to me, of having a little bit bigger of a house? Like, am I trying to buy my dream home in Oregon right now? Do I need 5 bedrooms? Do I have a huge family? Like, what's more important to me right now? Is it keeping this house here for, potentially a little longer, or I don't know. It just has to align with your goals. And I think really where that all starts is talking to a lender, which we have a fantastic lender we can send you to. And he's done this with our clients who are in this situation before, because like I said, we've been seeing this a lot lately because a lot of people are in this predicament. And so he's definitely helped kind of go over like pros and cons. Here's what it'll look like if you keep your house and rent it out and then buy one in Oregon. And here's what it'll look like if you sell it and then buy one here. So that's the first step.
I just really want to express how I don't want to be in debt right now, especially with all the changes happening in the market, the financial institutions. I mean, I keep seeing on the news even, I'm not that, connected with the financial banks, seeing what's closing, seeing what, it's like in these big financial institutions. But what I have been seeing and reading about in the headlines and other podcasts being talked about is how banks are shutting their doors. And they do not want to loan money. They don't want to get into an investment property. And that's why they're hiking these rates. I mean, you guys are, I guess you could say, in a bad position when you are wanting to take out a loan as an investment property because you're at high risk. You're high risk with the banks because our financial institutions are somewhat in a bad spot right now. And what I think is a big point, though, to know, me personally, I don't want to be in debt, but also I want to hold a piece of real estate for the long term.
Debt, though, I mean, that's not as
I know. But what I'm saying is I want to hold my property as a long-term investment. I don't want to just keep buying and selling off, because what's really cool about us in our business is we get a lot of conversations, right? And I talk to these older gentlemen, older gals, and they live their life owning real estate and having rental properties, and now they're living off of those for their retirement. They never invested in their Roths, 401ks, whatever. And they're living a great life. But ultimately, they said the best thing they had ever done was buy and hold. And I've always had a problem with that. We've always had a problem with that. But also, we live in historical times when it comes to equity with these properties.
The reason it's been so hard is because you live in a house for a year and you look at your equity, which is not the equity growth that we've seen the last few times we've bought has been not normal. So that's why I think it's been so tempting to just keep selling.
And they weren't our dream houses too.
Of course. Yeah. So it wasn't as big of a deal.
There's factors
to
here.
hold on to. But
if you are in that house and you do see that being more of a long-term, you want to own that, and it's in a good location, and it's going to remain.
Right. Look at the factors too. Like, would it make a good rental? Is it kind of more turnkey, or is it super high maintenance? Do you need to replace the roof soon? Like, there are so many factors to consider, which is why it's so circumstantial. But hopefully us answering this question at least, and kind of going back and forth, at least gives you a little bit more.
We're definitely on the fence with it.
Insight as to, or like gives you a little bit more like things to think about, I guess I'm trying to say, and to help make your decision.
Yeah,
so
I think you need to run the numbers. If the numbers make sense, go talk to a lender, see what the current rate is for that property you're looking to purchase.
Yeah.
Does that number make sense? Can you put enough money down without selling your house to keep that monthly mortgage? It's all up to you.
Yeah.
And if you really want to do it, if you need to do it, let us know. We're happy to help.
Yeah. What would you consider a lowball offer right now?
Lowballs. I'm into negotiating right now. I really am. What do you think, Rye?
I just think it's funny that like a couple years ago, $10,000 over asking price was considered a lowball offer.
Right.
That was laughed at. I'm not kidding. That was like, are you kidding?
I would tell my clients, no, I can't.
It's literally not even something.
There's
I just
two
thought
other
that was
offers
funny.
in hand.
It's crazy how different markets, what is considered low is different. And right now certainly is a lot different of a market, which is one reason why, I mean, you hear people saying, on one hand, some people say, I'm waiting to buy till prices drop. And other people say, I'm waiting to buy until interest rates drop. Well, when interest rates drop, we have to remember what's going to happen, which is everybody comes out and starts to buy. And it's insane with the bidding wars, like 50,000 plus over asking, like the insanity is what happens. I don't want to go there. And so
I don't want to get back to that point.
Yeah. What's the point of saying this? Oh yeah. What's considered a lowball offer right now?
Well, what I consider a win. Let me just talk to you guys about what a win is here in our market. A win is getting full ask price, but the caveat, the catch is my client's getting all their closing costs paid for, or their rate's getting bought down. I'd prefer a rate being bought down any day of the week right now, because that is long term, baby. I don't want to be wasting money with interest rates.
Yeah.
But also, if you look at this though, check this one out. With interest rates being so high, this is all tax deductible. At the end of the year, you do get that write-off. Now, think of all that money when you do file your taxes. I mean, that's all tax deductible. So, I mean, a $7,000 to $11,000 tax write-off, that's a pretty good write-off, and that's a good chunk of coin you're going to be saving through the year. Imagine if you didn't have that write-off and you're currently renting. You know what I mean?
That's true.
So you're giving away that to Uncle Sam anyway. So sometimes that is worth having an elevated mortgage over your current rent price. Think about that. But right now, just to clarify, at sales price, but the win is we get your buy down rate paid for by the seller and portions of your closing costs. If we can get all your closing costs, that's an even bigger bonus.
Yes. That is true. Okay. Is it okay to have two different realtors at the same time if they are geographically separated? Okay. I think maybe what they're meaning is like, say you're looking, because we've certainly had clients like this, who are looking kind of all over. Like they're looking in Salem,
Multiple
but then they're
states,
all
or-
no, but
Oh.
like the far other end.
Yeah,
Like
yeah, yeah. I
we
get
cover a pretty big geographical area.
Yeah.
Our area is pretty suburban, but we cover, so it's kind of like far. We cover Salem, and then really anywhere within, I would say, an hour any direction, and that covers a lot. I mean, there's a lot of
'cause we
different
have I-5.
Corvallis, Eugene, Portland, all the towns in between and on the outskirts, Dallas, like Silverton. There's so many different directions, and
Eugene,
so
Portland.
I think what they were meaning though is like, say they're looking in the valley, Willamette Valley, but then they're also looking
Roseburg.
in Roseburg, or like Klamath Falls,
I
somewhere
get
that's like
that.
hours and hours and hours away, but in the same state.
I get that. First,
Yeah.
you
What
and
would you
I,
do?
we have an initial buyer consultation, whether that's over phone or Zoom or in person. If you're in town, great. You tell me the areas you want to buy in. Well, here's the deal. I set you up on a property watch. I see what's available for you. And then I can connect you with an agent that I trust and have personal experiences with and great follow-up techniques with. So I'm referring you to somebody I know is going to take great care of you, get the job done. So you're not just in the dark clicking whoever you see on Zillow or wherever else you're searching on homes. Keep it with one sole broker, and then let your agent that you're currently working with in that particular state refer you to the next agent. That's going to keep everything more organized, clean, and people will be happy off that one.
Right. Here's what I think. If you're working or if you're looking for houses in this situation, say you're looking for houses on one end of Oregon in the complete other end of Oregon, and it's just like not the same markets. What I would say is if it has to be that situation for some whatever reason, you have to be looking in both places at once, then yes, we will figure it out. We, like Spencer said, we can totally connect you with a great agent. We have awesome connections with so many amazing agents, like so many different markets. So we can connect you with someone wherever that place is. And if you have to be looking with two different agents in two different places, we'll make it work. But what I would say, like, ideally, you probably aren't ready to be house hunting yet if you haven't narrowed it down. And what I mean isn't that you can't have a wide range, because we've had, we work with a lot of people who are looking say they were thinking about moving to Salem, but they're okay with living anywhere between like Portland and Salem, or even Portland and Eugene, which is like, there's 2 hours in between those. Salem's right in the middle, and like Portland and Eugene are 2 hours away. So we've had people who are kind of open to so many different towns in this geographical area, and that's okay. But if you're like still not sure what entire like market you want to be in, like you're not sure what side of the state you want to be on, then maybe you're not ready to house hunt yet. And like Spencer said, with the Zoom call, we can do our buyer consultation with you over Zoom, or we can just do a phone call if that's what you prefer. We're happy to do whatever works best for our buyers. And really, one thing that we can do on this call is help give you clarification on maybe what side is best for you, what side of town, what side of the state, what towns. We really can just answer any questions that you have about the area and give you our best knowledge about it. And then, of course, you doing your own research, watching these videos and whatever other resources you have, Google Maps, all of that combined. I think it's important to make that decision before you start house hunting, because it's pretty rare when somebody is looking, like, it's not very rare that someone is open to a lot of different towns, like around the Salem area. But it is rare when someone's looking on like two whole ends of the state.
Right.
But if you're in that situation, let's see what we can do.
And here's something to consider. There's three things when people are price shopping or home shopping.
Yeah.
They're looking at price, job, schools. That's kind of like the big three, I would say. And if we can combine at least two out of the three, that's going to be your geographical area you're going to be within, because most people want to be within 45 minutes of their workplace. Okay, that's absolute. Now we draw a radius. Okay, now it's going to be price. It's going to be in city, out of city, small town. Okay, now what about good school districts? And that is what a local professional should be able to provide you with. And that's what is part of these buyer consultations and why they are so important. And when we're in that 6 month out period as to when you're really truly ready to buy a home, that's when that consultation will most likely happen for you if you tell us.
Okay, last question is, why shouldn't I just call the listing agent when making an offer? Wouldn't that be best?
No, let me call the listing agent for you, because I'm going to pry information out of them. I'm going to get all your answers or questions answered. It's like, why would you go into court? Okay, you're in trouble. Man, we did something wrong. I'm not going to talk in front of the jury. I'm in a trial right now, and I'm not going to represent myself. I will always have
the person representing the other guy representing you. Like
exactly.
You want your own legal representation, which is really important when buying. And the services of a buyer's agent to you in the state of Oregon are free. So there's really no reason not to use an agent. We ask, obviously.
And can we clarify that one more time? Because people do get confused, especially first-time home buyers.
There is no fee. There's no added fee. There's no cost to using a real estate agent for a buyer in Oregon. And I think that's how it works in most areas as well.
I would assume most areas. But here's how it works. You want to stick
with one agent. You want to pick, one agent or one team that you're working with. You don't want to hop from agent to agent. You don't want to call the agent on the sign. That's definitely not in your best interest.
Mm-hmm. Us as a buyer's agent, it's absolutely free. We work for you.
Yeah.
The only way we get paid is after an offer is accepted and closed at escrow. So do not feel bad for contacting us or using our website or clicking on homes and saving these homes and asking and requesting for showings. What I will ask from you is A, the buyer consultation, and then B, you have a pre-approval letter from a trusted lender, hopefully the one that I recommended you use.
Okay, thank you for taking the time to watch this video. If you are thinking about relocating to our area, again, we would love to chat with you. Feel free to reach out anytime. And also feel free to head over to our channel. We have multiple different playlists where we chat all about moving to Oregon, living in Oregon, Oregon home tours, and everything in between that is Oregon and real estate related. So we will see you guys next week.